I am a country girl from the hills of Tennessee. I grew up on a farm with my grandparents, and my grandfather was a Korean Vietnam War veteran. Rock bottom is just a moment, and I was going to bounce back. So there's what the sender sends out and what the receiver receives. Hi, my name is Charlynda Scales. I'm a mom. I'm an author, a disabled military veteran.
Your host of The Trampoline Effect.
During my divorce, I was living in a different state than where my businesses are run and operated. I was working full-time at the Federal Aviation Administration and then the Pentagon. I was trying to keep my business afloat. I was trying to keep my lawyers paid. And at the same time, I had personal expenses that I needed to tend to. All of this is happening at the same time. It felt like I was just bleeding money. Everywhere I go, I'm just throwing cash out the window. Financial rock bottoms are sometimes the worst rock bottoms. It feels like a hole you can never climb out of. In my rock bottom moment, I had to make some tough decisions. I had to make cuts in my business. I had to cut people off from my business. The circle got really small, really fast. I had to look at my personal life and say, because I didn't have financial literacy growing up, I had to face some hard truths about my own spending habits. Financial rock bottom is a tough one, but not one that we cannot navigate together. Let's break down some steps that we can take to pull yourself out of this hole and get yourself healthier financially. So you're probably wondering, Charlynda just told us she won $25,000 in a grant contest. And what did you do with it? Well, let's wind it back a little bit. So when I joined the military, I had a singular goal that was steeped in a lack of financial literacy. I said, if I ever make the rank of major, I would go into a BMW car lot, buy the BMW with cash, and just roll out. That was my goal. With $25,000 I had saved in the military, I was going to buy a depreciating asset, a car. I grew up not only in the farm life with my grandparents, but then my mother moved us into Section 8 housing, also known as the projects. Now, even though I didn't feel poor growing up, my mother did a great job taking care of me and making me have a childhood where I lacked nothing. In school, I had been told by a couple of kids that you're poor. And I internalized that thought, that mentality that I did not have money. And maybe I'm going to have a life where statistically, I'll never have a lot of money. Couple that with, I was taught to be humble. And I think I took that on to a fault, humble to a fault, where it became scarcity mindset. I don't want to become too wealthy because then no one will relate to me and no one will listen to me. Now, this chat that we're having, I'm not going to say that I am 100% there yet, but I too am working through these rock bottom moments alongside you. Financial rock bottoms can feel like you owe everyone. You might have days where you wake up and you don't even want to check the mail because you know there's going to be a bill. So let's talk about these steps that we have to take. The $25,000 that I was going to buy a BMW was met with a fork in the road. Bob Evans had told me that I was going to get $25,000. So the $25,000 that I was going to use to buy a BMW became what I bootstrapped Mutt Sauce LLC with. We're a fully manufactured food product. Quality assurance and quality control of the product was important. And I wanted to invest that much money to do that ahead of time, respecting the fact that I was still on active duty in the military when I founded the company. 4 years later, we get the money from Bob Evans, $25,000, exactly what I put into it. But this time, I'm a little bit wiser. I had to buy inventory. If I wanted to be in stores like Kroger, you had to pay for a lot of sauce up front. I didn't get financial literacy just from founding Mutt Sauce. I had to have a mentor. My mentor, John Suter, was the one who sat me down and talked to me about the ins and outs of the financial part of owning a business. Terms like cost of goods sold, profit margin, retail price versus distribution price. You're going to have to do some hard work to understand the financial part, the financial impacts in your personal life, the financial impacts in your professional life. Sometimes we can fail simply because we ignore it. Now let's sit down and let's start working through it. When I started the business, I took inventory of where all the money was going. And I found out that I was paying $1,500 for consulting per month. I was paying for subscriptions that I didn't even need and didn't even use. In my personal life, I was doing things like, I'm going to go on a cruise. Why? Because I can and it's sunny. And I don't want to face the reality of this rock bottom moment in my personal life. So as I'm racking up air miles, I was also racking up the debt. I had a school loan that I needed to pay attention to. All of these things are happening at the same time, and you do have an opportunity to do two things. Find a battle buddy. Battle buddy is someone who can get you straight. You can have an accountability partner to look at these things. If you don't want to use someone that you know, find someone in an organization like SCORE or Bunker Labs, the Small Business Association. Those are places that are private, but they can also give you those tools that you need, whether it is spreadsheets or budget trackers, and check in with you. Doing this alone can sometimes guarantee that you will not make it through the rock bottom moment. It is the alone part that makes it tough. So find that battle buddy. And then reward yourself. Reward yourself by gamifying it. You can gamify your savings. If you like going to Starbucks or if you like going out to eat, give yourself a reward for hitting your financial goals. Along with rewarding yourself, you also have to know yourself. And autopilot and auto pay are your best friends. If you are the person that is sitting there with a pile of papers, your doom pile of bills on your desk, in your home office, on the kitchen counter, take those bills and automate it if you can. Make sure that you set it for times that you know you're going to either get paid or know when you're going to have sales. Because those things have to get done. And sometimes you're so busy and distracted that that's the first thing that gets ignored. Reward yourself. Auto pay. If you're in debt, you can build better relationships. Call your creditors. Tell them your situation. Sometimes they will negotiate those fees down. Call your banker or just take a moment to walk in there and establish a relationship with them. And they can help you find ways of getting relief. Pausing payments for a while for you to get back on your feet. And as my mentor, Damon John, told me, there's nothing wrong with having a job. It used to be this grind and hustle mentality, this environment that you have to run yourself into the ground with your business. But if you have people that you are responsible for taking care of, then get that job, get some stability, take the time in this rock bottom moment to pause and evaluate where the money's leaking, and then restart. So the thing is, even if you're in a moment where you feel like you are broke, it does not mean that you're broken. It does not mean that this will be forever. We're going to have to take small steps, but steps forward to bouncing back financially. I believe in you.